Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I'm your host, Rising Oblivion. Today, guys, we're going to be doing the Persona 5 Royal Best Confidant tier list. But this is kind of more than just a tier list. It's more of an analysis of each confidant and what they give you. So this is not going to be a list based off of, the actual person themselves, more like the things that you unlock, the abilities you get, the quality of life changes that happens to the game whenever you actually go through the game and unlock the different levels of these confidants. So certain people obviously are like blatantly really good, some are just kind of some are kind of bad, so we're going to talk about that as well. So I have a list here on the right side of the screen that shows all of the different things you unlock for each confidant, all the way up to the world, which the world really is just a story purpose thing. There's not an actual, person even attached to it anyway. So that one's obviously an oddball out. But for everybody else, we are going to go through and talk about what they give you exactly and where they sort of land when it comes to something like a tier list, because some of these are really, really good. Like I said, like Kawakami, Chihaya, they're all really, really good stuff. But there's some people here like Mishima that's not so great. But let's actually go over what you get for each character here. As we go along, as we talk about each character, we're going to look at exactly what they give you and sort of judge where we think they should go. So let's just start here with Mishima. So Mishima, you get him pretty early on. All he does is he increases the XP gains exponentially. He actually increases it quite a bit compared to what you might think. He allows for backup party members to also earn XP as well. So you might not think that is too, crazy of a thing, but as you move through the game and you go through different palaces, you really do have to start switching up the team a bit, especially with, getting Akechi so, much further on and getting Kasumi or Sumire so much further on within the game. You kind of do need this because they're going to be under leveled and you're not always going to have to use them right off the bat. So it is nice to have that. I think this is a pretty mid-tier character in terms of confidant, to be completely honest with you. He does give you the missions and stuff like that for mementos, but I consider that to be more of a gameplay element. I mean, a lot of people actually end up giving you missions, and pretty much each of these confidants at some point or another. Most of them also give you a mission for mementos as well. So Mishima, I think we're going to put sort of towards B tier. But let's talk about Akechi now. So we have Akechi, which I think is a little bit better than I think Mishima would be. Mishima, the reason why I did him first is because he is kind of mid tier. These are all random, so I'm not trying to say that one person is better than the other in terms of who I do first. So just keep that in mind. This is going to be kind of random. So Girl Akechi, number 10, Justice. So he increases the chance to reveal enemy affinities at the start of the battle. So it does that little question mark thing, and he has party bonuses. So let's talk about real quick what party bonuses mean. So party bonuses is the things like, being able to take a hit at an enemy after Joker fails to kill Shadow. So you know how Joker, sits there, he hits the enemy, it doesn't kill him, but one of the team members might come up like, yo, let me have a swing at him. That's what one of the party bonuses are. The sexy technique, which is what An has, is one of them as well. Surviving a attack with 1 HP left. It's also a party bonus. Doing things like being able to hit, with a little fan on a fellow team member who's maybe paralyzed or asleep or something like that. That's also a party bonus. So all of the characters that are in combat pretty much all have the party bonus. But some, like I said, An has the sexy technique, which she distracts some enemies, which is kind of different compared to what the rest of the party bonuses are for the rest of the characters. But when it comes to Akechi here, this is also what I would consider to be another sort of B-type character. However, he does unlock the third palace. So this is something else I wanted to talk about when it comes to Kasumi and Dr. Maruki. That is something I do want to consider for the list because they are unlocking something completely brand new. And because of that, I do put him to A tier. His stuff and his abilities alone really don't do a whole lot, but the fact that he does, because you have to level him up to get the third semester, palace, you have to have him leveled up. I consider that to be part of his confidant character. So we're going to put him there at A. If it wasn't for the third semester, he would be further down because the actual stuff he gets here, the chance to reveal enemy affinities, and the party bonus really aren't all that great. But we're going to keep that there. Let's move on over to An. That's sort of my opinion on that. An Takami, the lovers, number 8. So she has a chance to cancel enemy moves. She has the party bonus as well. So she, once again, I think sort of middle of the road. She's mostly just party bonuses. She has the sexy technique, which is nice, but that really does distract the enemies at her. If she's not really doing a whole lot, and if it's an enemy that shoots, ice, she really just put a target on her back to be one-hit kill. She really sort of messed herself up when it comes to that. Chihaya. So let's scroll over to Chihaya. Chihaya probably has the longest list next to Futaba in terms of all of the stuff that you get. So she's level 12, or she's number 12, Fortune. So this is a lot of stuff. You get a lot of cool stuff here for Chihaya. So she does fortune readings with, so you can improve the social stat growth, grant more money in combat, raise the confidant affinity, so you could actually trigger an affinity bonus from a character that you have not talked with, reveal all confidant benefits, so you can actually see all of the different benefits one confidant has, trigger Velvet Room Alarm, which this is actually kind of out of left field, but you could trigger the Velvet Room Alarms to actually happen more often. So you level up your personas more, you have more of a higher chance to increase the actual affinity of your confidants with her. You can see all the benefits they have. You can also highlight the optimal conversation choices. So it actually highlights what the best choice is when you're talking to your confidants. Chihaya, without a doubt, is S tier. Her as a character and stuff I don't like too much, but when it comes to her just pure abilities, she has to be S tier. She does so much for you. So that's pretty much that. Let's move on over to Futaba here. I'm trying to not make this video be super long when it comes to like editing and stuff like that, and pairing up the audio and stuff. So Futaba, chance to restore HP, SP, give Kajo or charge buffs, swap KO'd members or block attacks, chance to instantly map Mentos floor. This is probably one of the best things she honestly has. Chance to hold up at the start of battle, not too bad. Chance to restart research objects after battle, and it says romanceable. That's not something we're talking about here when it comes to that. Romanceable stuff is not something we're talking about. We're talking about pure just skills and things. She is A tier. I'll put her above Akechi. If she had just a little bit more, I'd probably put her in S tier, but the fact is, these quality of life things, like chance to instantly map a whole mementos floor, that is so nice, especially in Royal when you're trying to find all the stamps. If there's not a stamp that's RNG just automatically put on that floor, it is nice for, Futaba to clear out the floor and you can just check the map and see there's no stamps here, boom, move to the next floor, because once she maps out the entire floor in mementos, you literally could just teleport right down to the next floor because you technically have already found the way down. So that's actually really nice, a really good quality of life change right there whenever you level up, Futaba to have that. So not a pretty bad, character overall. Definitely deserves that A tier when it comes to all of her abilities. Just Mementos alone, because Mementos is super long. So let's move on over to Haru here. Where is Haru at on this list? Come on, Haru. Where you hiding at? Where you hiding at? Haru, please. Okay, number 5 here. Haru Okumura. So she grows the vegetables which restore SP, which is pretty good. She has the party bonuses. She really doesn't have a lot, but I don't kind of blame her. She's a very end character, so you don't get a ton here. I'm putting her at B, but I'm going to move her all the way up, I think, at B, because honestly, she gives really good SP abilities. It's not like the typical SP ability where it's like gain 10 SP to one character. No, it's like you can have the entire party. I think with the tomatoes, all have an instant like 100 SP, just brought right back. That's really good towards end-game stuff, especially when some skills start to cost like 90 SP, 60 SP, 80 SP. They end up costing a lot of stuff towards the, end-game sort of stuff there. But she has a very good ability when it comes to her. She definitely deserves that B tier. If she had a couple other things, that'd be good. She also has the party bonuses, so she helps out in combat, but overall, not too bad. Let's move on over to Hafumi here. So Hafumi, once again, more of an end sort of character, but you do meet her more and towards the middle. So Hafumi here, she's number 19, the star. Swap out party members in combat. Actually a very good skill. Allow backup members to do a follow-up attack. Also a very nice thing, but you have to assume that they already have the follow-up attack thing as well. Hastens escape and lets you escape when surrounded. I never really used that a lot. I didn't get surrounded a lot, so this ability I do see, it's not useless. It's nice to have, especially if you want to have that, but I never really escaped when I'm surrounded. I felt like I was overpowered enough that I didn't really need to worry about that. Earn extra money by winning battles in one turn. Once again, it's so late in the game, I didn't think I really needed as much. These are all really good stuff, but the time you have Hafumi though, if you don't level her up quick enough, I feel like you're not doing a lot here. And with having Chihaya also at night, Hafumi kind of just seems like I'm not going to be leveling up, Hafumi. I'd rather do Chihaya instead. So for Hafumi, I think I'm also going to put her B tier higher up. But like I said, this is good stuff, don't get me wrong, but the time you have it, money's not mattering too much. I don't ever feel like I have to escape battles where I'm surrounded. Typically, I can still beat them up pretty good. The allowing backup party members to do follow-up attacks. Honestly, even though it's, you know, like one of the earlier things you unlock from her, I think it's probably one of the best things. And swapping out party members in combat is also one of the best things, I think, as well. But let's move on over to Igor. So Igor, the Fool, Zero. So when it comes to Igor, we have the Negotiation, the Third Eye, hold more personas, earn more Fusion Burst XP. So this is good stuff, but I do feel like it's more storyline stuff. I don't think he's necessarily supposed to have a lot of great stuff for you to have to begin with, but he still technically is good. I'm going to put him at C tier. This is stuff that you're going to do anyway. Holding more personas is good, but you could just fuse more personas and get rid of them, so you don't necessarily have to hold more. It's just a good, you know, type of thing, quality of life for the game, so you don't have to constantly, you know, have to go back to the Velvet Room and, you know, get rid of personas, itemize them, release them, stuff like that. It really just helps. The Third Eye is good. Probably one of the best things there. Earn more Fusion Burst XP. Not too bad, but like I said, it's more story-driven stuff. You don't feel that impactful when you actually get these things. You're already doing them for the most part. Really, it's the quality of life thing, like I was saying. So let's move on over to our boy here. When it comes to gun stuff, so more gun stuff is good. So more guns available at the shop, custom guns, which adds elements. So if you have not done this stuff with the gun mods where you actually put electricity on a gun or burn on a gun, it really does help a lot more than you think. Because the thing is, if a certain enemy has a certain, you know, elements or something like that that they do not like, let's say you're shooting somebody, you know, shooting ice at somebody that doesn't like ice, you can actually cripple them right away. Or if you have electricity on Joker's gun, I remember middle of my playthrough I did that and I was instantly stunning enemies all the time because it was a very high electric. It was high electric, so I was instantly stunning enemies, and then I would have Makoto hit them with nukes, so I kept doing technicals all the time. This is actually a very, very nice skill, and he also allows more guns to be available at the shop. I think he also makes it to where it can also be cheaper at sometimes too, so he does have a lot of really good quality stuff. I'm putting him at A tier, but further down because it really can be broken, a lot of the gun stuff that you can do, and you can put mods on every character in the group's gun, so you literally could add elements to certain characters that don't have certain elements, and it's really nice to have that because you could do so many different types of combos and combinations whenever you jump into a battle. It really does help in the end whenever you have that sort of, you know, stuff going on in your battles, instead of just having to be limited to the stuff that you currently have with your personas. So having different gun, you know, elements and stuff like that, like having burn on a gun when you don't have burn at all, not too bad to have. So let's move on over to Kasumi here. So Kasumi, so raises Joker's HP, ambush enemies if they hit you first, ambush enemies from a distance using the grapple hook. Boom, she's instantly A tier. A tier, and I'm gonna put it right behind Futaba, just because Futaba has a lot more stuff there. The whole Mementos thing really puts Futaba up there. So it raises Joker's HP, which isn't a lot, but a lot of times I think you can meet her multiple times and she increases it. She ambushes enemies even if you hit them first. This is actually pretty nice to have. And ambush enemies from a distance using the grapple hook. This is probably one of the best things that Kasumi has, because you don't have to sneak up on them. A lot of times a shadow will move down a corridor, then they'll move right back around. If you could be out of their line of vision and hit them with a grapple hook instead before they get that turn around part, you can actually hit them while they're looking at you, but you ambush them. Even though they were staring right at you, you're just far enough away that the ambush can happen with the grapple hook. A very nice feature to have. You know, I think I'm going to move her down in A tier because there's not a ton actually going on here. I'm going to have to move her down a little bit because of that. We'll readjust the whole tier here in a minute whenever we kind of have everybody up on the board. So Kawakami. Kawakami give a chance to gain free time at school, save time by having Kawakami make coffee, curry, craft infiltration shoes, do laundry, head out to the metaverse excursion by receiving a massage. You can head out after you, go to the palace, or if you just go to Mementos, you can come back and actually do something at night because of the massage. She can make curry for you, she can craft infiltration tools, she could do laundry for you, she can give you free time at school, which you can then use on infiltration tools. You can sleep, which can then bring up the affinity to some characters. You can also read as well, so you can level up any of your social stats. Without a doubt, Kawakami, I think, in terms of what I see here, probably going to be the SS tier. She's going to be the highest. She is with Chihaya, but I think she's a little bit better than Chihaya because literally Kawakami lets you hit just about any field you want. She'll do most of the menial tasks you don't want to do, like the laundry or creating tools and stuff like that. However, if you do have full proficiency and you make crafting tools, you can make 13 lockpicks. Do you have her do it? She only makes 7. So She can only make about half what you can, so that does kind of hinder some things at the end when it comes to how many she can actually make, but it's still not bad. I think she's number 1. Makoto. So let's move on over to Makoto. Where you at, Makoto? Where you at? This tier list is, too long. This is going to be a long video, guys, but just hold on. Just hold on. Okay. Makoto Nijima. So, analyze enemies, moves, drops, and defenses, party bonuses. I love Makoto to death, but honestly, she does not really do a ton. She analyzes their moves, the drops, and defenses, which is good to have, but compared to everybody else, I just don't feel like she does a whole lot, honestly. She's one of my favorite characters, love her to death, but honestly, she doesn't give a ton of different things when it comes to her. The moves and drops and defense is literally the best thing. Party bonuses is good. It's good to have that, but most of the characters have party bonuses, and they add something extra than that. Being able to analyze the moves is good. The drops is good. Defense is good. Honestly, when do you ever look at it at the drops, though? I don't really look at that. The defenses and the moves are pretty much the only thing I ever actually look at. If anything, the defenses is the only thing I look at. So she has like one good thing, and that's the defenses. I think personally, the rest of the stuff I don't really analyze. There's not a ton of stuff in there that I really analyze other than the defenses. I want to see what they're weak to. That's pretty much it, honestly. There's not a ton that she gives. If this list was like this, but worse, she would be higher up. But just having that, I don't think is really enough. Dr. Maruki. Dr. Maruki, I think he's further down. Dr. Maruki, of course, another royal sort of character. Dr. Maruki raises Joker's SP, so it's kind of the opposite to Kasumi. Instead of the HP, he raises the SP. So for doing both of those, it's pretty good. Chance for Joker to instantly recover ailments, that's super good. Chance to become charged and focused at the start of battle. This actually happens a lot more often than you think, which is why he's going to be placed somewhere. Chance to recover SP when low. So this never really happened a ton to me because I think I had my SP always pretty high. But even with just this stuff here, I think Dr. Maruki easily owns a spot when it comes to A tier. And I'm going to put him at the highest because he literally, he increases your max SP. He gives Joker a chance to instantly recover from ailments like shock, sleep, poison, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Chance to become charged and focus at the start of battle, which increases, I think, your attack and stuff like that, which is really nice. And a chance to recover SP when you're low. So he is definitely tying here. Him and Futaba, I'm not 100% sure where to put them at exactly. And he also unlocks the ability to go to the third palace, or the final palace. Third semester final palace is what I meant. So he gives you the ability to also go to that, which is something you definitely want to have. If you're playing Royal, you definitely want to be able to experience that. So I'm going to put him there. Like I said, I'm going to consider part of it, this to be part of their Confidant. Because without doing their Confidant, you don't get to actually reach that. You will not naturally reach that unless you actually do their Confidant. Morgana. Okay. So craft more infiltration tools. Morgana, you're not helping yourself here much. Party bonuses, we get that. Morgana, honestly, C tier. Like I said, you know what, D tier, because at least Makoto can analyze enemy defenses and things like that. He literally does just crafting tools. Literally, the only things I ever crafted were lockpicks. I feel like everything else I just maximized some other way. So honestly, Morgana, I'm sorry, dude. You're going D tier. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. You're going D tier. That's it. That's it. That's the end of that. Okay, Chihaya. Anybody can try and defend him, but honestly, he doesn't bring a lot to the table. I'm sorry, he really doesn't. Okay, Chihaya reduces the palace security levels and makes ambushing easier. Okay, once again, D tier. Does not actually do a lot when it comes to stuff here. I'll give Morgana that because he does the party bonuses. I'll give Morgana that. He's higher than Chihaya, okay? But Chihaya here reduces security levels and makes ambushing easier. I was a person when I played through the game, I didn't find it too hard. The palace, security levels weren't much of a deal for me. You can actually create stuff through, infiltration tools to actually lower the palace security levels. And not only that, if you do a couple battles, you can lower the security level pretty quick. So really, she didn't do a whole lot. She didn't bring a ton to the table. Okay, the next character, Ryuji. Ryuji, honestly, I think he's probably one of the most underrated characters when it comes to their confidant abilities. And I think a lot of this has to do with the royal compared to, just regular P5. So, Ryuji Sakamoto. stealthier dashing, which I didn't know. So when you're running, you actually are stealthier, and it's harder for the enemies to actually lock onto you. This happened so early on that I really didn't notice it. So for the most of the game, you have these stealthier dashing. Instant kill low-level enemies by dashing into them. Oh my god. This right here, honestly, might be one of the best abilities in the entire game. Instant kill low-level enemies by dashing into them. If you did not level Ryuji's stuff up and you played through all of P5 or P Royal, whatever, I feel sorry for you, because this is honestly one of the best things you could possibly have. And I think this might be a Royal only thing. Correct me in the comments if it's not. This might be one of the best things you could possibly have in all of the game, because this seriously makes something like mementos and just, menial like little tasks all throughout mementos and the palaces so much easier. When you're trying to run around and find things like the, skulls within the palaces, the will seeds I mean, and you're going through all of mementos, because I tried to collect all the stamps and have all the stuff that, done for Jose or whatever. I wanted to, 100% the game, basically, even though it's not a trophy. I didn't have to. I knew it. I'm a collector in games. I had to do that. So I instant killed pretty much all of mementos the entire time. How it works is basically if you use Joker's third eye, if you see an enemy that's like yellow or green, as long as they're not red, you can dash right into them, just sprint into them, and it basically just instantly does the battle. You get the XP, some items, blah blah blah. You can even claim the persona. This is honestly the way that I claimed most of the personas all throughout the game, to be completely honest with you, because a lot of times bigger bosses, I don't think they want to negotiate with you as much because of certain things. And if you don't have Yoshida stuff done, you can't even collect them anyway if they're a higher level than you anyhow. So this was a really good ability for me. I honestly have to do this, and I don't think anybody else is going to actually make S tier in this list. Honestly, I'm putting Ryuji S tier just for that. He cuts so much time out of the game. These three characters right here, if you level them up, Kawakami, Chihaya, Ryuji, if you level these characters up, you actually have so much smooth sailing. It feels like a completely different game. This is how you cut a 100, hour game to like 80 or 60 or something like that. My playthrough was about 100 because I was kind of late to Chihaya's stuff. If I was a little bit sooner on her stuff, if I stopped going to Ahaya at night and went to Chihaya instead, it would have been so much better. This is what you definitely should do. During the day, Kawakami or Ryuji. Actually, Kawakami stuff at night too. So you kind of have to balance stuff out with Chihaya and Kawakami. Get Ryuji stuff done first, just right away. If you want to have a lower, playtime of the game and feel like it's taking too long, those three are definitely it, guys. Those are definitely the three that you'd have S tier. And honestly, when it comes to JRPGs, just RPGs in general, they're all super, super long. And they honestly make the game feel so much better. So, Sai Nijima, story purposes only. Sorry, D tier. It's literally story purposes only. There's no reason to really have anything for me to say towards her. It's just story purposes. There's nothing else there. Sorry. Okay, Shinra Oda. Okay, unlocks the gun bonuses and attacks for ambushing negotiation, including a guaranteed down shot, and it also buffs gun attacks, so you get some different type of ambushing gun type things, which have been pretty nice. You get the one where you just spam right away and all the characters shoot at the start of a battle. You get the down shot technique, which is pretty nice as well, and it buffs gun attacks. Honestly, I didn't find these to be super useful, but I'm going to put him higher up on C tier because this really doesn't bring a ton to the table. He is, a character you unlock later in the game, so maybe if the game was a little bit longer, they would let you have some extra abilities here or there, maybe, but there's really not a ton going on here when it comes to little, Shinya. I didn't really like him as a character anyway, but that's not what this list is about, but his abilities and stuff really don't bring a ton to the table. Not really a ton going on there, to be completely honest with you. So, let's just move on over to Sojiro. Sojiro, make coffee and curry, which restore SP. These are pretty nice to have. I liked having these. You can also unlock this stuff pretty easy with Sojiro. I think at the very start of the game, you're basically relying on the, vending machines and Sojiro's coffee and curry to have those extra boosts in SP because it's kind of hard. You don't have much access to the Takami at the very start, so you have to level her up a lot before you can get her really good, health and SP stuff. So a lot of times you're basically relying on Sojiro. I don't think Takami actually gives you SP things, but Haru is what I meant with that. Haru gives you the really good SP stuff. So Haru is much later in the game. Sojiro is mostly what you're relying on, and the vending machine. So I found this to be really useful. I'm going to put him in B tier, somewhere in the middle here, because honestly, his curry and coffee and stuff like that was pretty good. Although, if you have really good SP management and you have good melee guns, melee and guns and stuff, you really don't have to worry about the whole SP sortage thing. You also can have abilities that also, just give you SP back with each turn. There's certain items you could just flat out wear as well that also return SP to you. That's what Takami can give you. She can give you items that, I think Invigorate is what it is, that actually gives you SP back. So, talking about the girl, let's actually go over her as well. Sorry, I put Sojiro sort of B tier because that's really all it does. There's not a ton more going on there. So really, it's good to have that, but depending on your playstyle, you can kind of move around that, honestly, to be completely honest. So healing items and accessories for purchase. So Takami, honestly, this sounds kind of underwhelming, but when you see the healing items and the accessories, my god, they are so good. So her best, sort of healing ability is 200 HP to all party members. And if you keep leveling her up, the cost of the stuff that you buy from her also goes down. So you can buy a lot of this stuff pretty cheap. I had 99 of that at the end of the game. When I was doing the last couple palaces and finishing off mementos, I had that. And basically, that's pretty much a full heal towards the end of the game. Some of the characters do get up like 600, 700 health at level 99, so it didn't always do that, but around half health is when I'd pop one of these bad boys and I'd be pretty much full health again, which was really nice to have. And if you don't have a ton of characters that have healing type of abilities, especially if they don't have healing abilities where it heals the entire team, or if you just flat out don't want to use SP, have good SP management, these healing items are the best. Like I said, the accessories, some of these accessories could give back HP each turn. They can give back SP each turn, which I think that alone is enough to bring her up to A tier, honestly. I'd move her up here next to Futaba and Maruki in terms of usefulness, because they seriously are super useful. So let's move on over to the twins. Caroline and Justine. So where are they at on the list? They probably are twin wardens. There we go. So twin wardens. So group persona fusions, train personas in the velvet room to add additional resistances, fuse persona that are higher level than you. Honestly, really the last thing and the first thing I want to use the most, group persona fusions. I really just use group fusions for her stuff. Because, well, their stuff, I guess, her, if you want to, the end of the game. I really only used that to make a couple personas that you had to use to level up the twin wardens to begin with. The training personas in the Velvet Room I really didn't use. I waited till a fusion alarm, and then I would just level up my persona a lot. Because during fusion alarms, if you sacrifice a persona to strengthen another one, it did a whole lot more than what the training stuff could have done. Although you could use the instants to add attribute resistances and give them extra bonuses, maybe a little more magic or something like that, which is nice, but honestly, I never used this. Fusing personas that are higher level than you, I did use quite often, so honestly, I'm going to put them in B tier, probably below Sojiro, I think is where that kind of goes. There's not a ton going on here. This is another character kind of similar to Igor, where it's like, it's mostly story, but we're just unlocking certain abilities that the game just naturally kind of have for you. Honestly, all that stuff could just naturally be unlocked, and it wouldn't change a whole lot. I think the game just sort of progresses and needs to unlock more stronger ways of getting higher level personas, which is what I think most of what Igor, the Twin Wardens, even does. But honestly, I think that kind of fits where that is. So let's talk about my boy Yoshida here. Another one that I think is a little bit underrated, but it kind of depends on playstyle as well. So this is why this is mostly, like I said, this is mostly just opinion based, and it does matter about playstyle. However, I think anybody who watches this video, this could help when it comes to learning how you want to play the game. So let's talk about Yoshida here. So chance to improve negotiation results, which is good. Recruit persona that are higher level than you. So this flat out means whenever you're in a negotiation, certain personas can be higher levels than you are. So let's say you're like level 30 on an earlier on palace, because you get Yoshida pretty early on as well. So you're level 30, but there's like a level 35 persona. Claiming that persona could be really, really good, honestly, because at the very beginning of the game, you don't quite know exactly what personas you're going to be using for the rest of the game. I'd say during mid to like late, sort of like maybe 3/4 of the way through the game, you know which personas you're using, you're buffing those ones up, you know exactly what you want. But I think Yoshida helps out a lot, because before you can get Ryuji's sort of dash technique, you pretty much have to negotiate with certain personas to claim them. And getting a really strong persona early on in like some of the early palaces can honestly be a lifesaver and make the game a whole lot easier. So when you can improve the negotiation stuff, this is really good. He also allows you to negotiate for more money, so you can ask for money multiple times from the exact same, demon before they die. You can ask for more items and stuff like that. This is a actually really nice thing to have as well. However, there's not a ton going on here. I mean, it's mostly just two different things, so just because of that, I think he's more of a B tier, not so much C tier. C tier, I don't see a ton happening here, but we're going to put him on B tier. I think he's a little bit above Mishima. Maybe better than the Twin Wardens. It's kind of hard to say, because I feel like I claimed a lot more personas with Yoshida stuff than I did the Twin Wardens. I did do a lot of group, guillotine type stuff to where I fused personas. I really didn't do a lot there. Now let's talk about my boy Yusuke. So Yusuke, honestly, not a character I used a lot. It might have been because I was focusing on other characters, but I really didn't use him a lot. Duplicate and create skill cards and have party bonuses. So this is the biggest thing he has here. You unlock more different ways to do skill cards. So initially you have to have a skill card and you have to create it, but when you level him up more, you can automatically just have a duplicate of a card that you've already created before. You don't have to actually have that card anymore. If you've just ever made it with him at one point, he can just automatically do it again, which is really nice to have, honestly. And whenever you're trying to level up the Twin Wardens, you have to have certain personas with certain abilities, so you have to use skill cards sometimes to do that. However, you could just itemize a persona, which then gives you a skill card that you could put on another persona to then level up the Twin Warden. So once again, this is kind of based off of playstyle. I'm a person that I would just sort of look up the compendium and stuff online and would just find the exact persona I wanted, itemize them, and then put that on a persona that I wanted. So I didn't use Yusuke a lot because of that. I think I'm going to put him D tier, but I'll put him higher up because the skill cards are super useful. It's just I didn't use Yusuke for my skill cards. I found other ways to use my skill cards. You also unlock them sometimes from chests, ending battles, different things like that. And honestly, I found myself just fusing personas and itemizing them to get certain things that I wanted. So let's take a look at this tier list here in whole. So we can just sort of pop that up here. We don't need that list anymore. Let's see how confident I am about this. Let's take a second glance and see what exactly we have. So we have Kawakami, Chihaya, Ryuji top. I still stand by that. This right here, I've never been so concrete about something in my life. This works right here. I know it's just one thing from Ryuji, but it's honestly something so good it has to stay. He has to stay there because of that one ability. This is such a big quality of life improvement, especially if you spend a lot of your time on mementos and in palaces, which, I mean, half the game is about that. That's what the game's all about. And all the time you have to spend on mementos, especially with now Royal, you have even more time you have to spend there. This is honestly such a lifesaver. However, Chihaya helps so much more just all around the game, honestly, and Kawakami literally helps both things. She can help you have different items and things you can have when you're in the metaverse. She can also help you out with learning and having things done for you during the day, and just flat out being able to not level up the other characters as much, but think about them when you sleep at school and have more time. She honestly saves so much time in the game. All three of these characters do. They belong in S tier for sure. A tier, Dr. Maruki, because of third semester, he's there. Futaba has a lot of good stuff as well. This is all healing items and stuff for these two characters. Healing items, support. These two characters honestly have it. They make it so much easier, especially if you're trying to save SP. These two characters really are the ones to go for. Akechi, like I said, third semester type stuff, but honestly, I'm going to move him further down here. These two really are just for having third semester. They don't bring a ton to the table. I think Kawakami I might bring up a little bit further above Akechi. So Akechi's almost could be B tier, honestly, in my mind. You could say Akechi's B or C tier, and I'd probably almost agree with you, really, to be completely honest with you. He doesn't add a ton to the table. Like I said, this is based off abilities, so he doesn't add a lot. Hafumi's there, Haru's there. Haru, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that. Haru belongs in A tier. The SP stuff is a lot more important than what I think. than what I think. She belongs here, I think, for sure. She belongs in A tier for that. Akechi, like I said, it's just for the third semester, and if we're not even considered third semester, he might as well be down here. But just because of his third semester stuff, he's going to be there. If you don't want to consider this list legit because of that, you can consider that. I think Dr. Maruki still belongs here even without this third semester, and I think Kasumi also belongs here even without the third semester stuff. Akechi, if you just want to say no third semester stuff, my original plan would be for him to be like C tier then, I guess, if you don't consider that to be something to consider in this list. Hafumi does give you some good stuff. Sojiro, it's the SP heal items type of stuff. Yoshida, still pretty good. Twin Wardens, yeah. Mishima, on has a sexy technique. Let's bring on up just a little bit higher than I think. Let's consider it better than the Twin Wardens for our party bonuses and stuff like that. Nah, Twin Wardens have to go up higher. I'm second guessing myself. Yusuke, I don't use the card stuff, sorry. I didn't really use his stuff. Makoto didn't bring a ton to the table here. Igor, it's more story stuff, not a lot. Honestly, Sainijima does nothing for you actually, other than just helping you have higher level persona fusions with her Arcana. That's really all you get for her. Chihaya, nothing a lot here. Morgana, nothing a lot here. If anything, Chihaya, I guess not, because Morgana at least has party bonuses. Let's give that to him at least. We'll give that to Morgana at least. He's the highest on D tier. This is a strong D tier, strong S tier, strong C tier. Honestly, it's A and B tier that might shuffle just a little bit. You could probably argue to me that these should shuffle around just a little bit, and I'd probably agree with you. But I think this right here is my definitive answer. I played through all of P5 and through all of Royal. I have the whole stream there. If you want to see the, the whole, like, actually me judging based on the character, I've done a character tier list, and I've done the waifu tier list. If you're interested in that, you know what I'm saying, if you're kind of going that way with this, I also have that video too. I'll have it as an end card actually for this video. But I think this is it, guys. You guys sort of asked me to do this while I was streaming and going through my Royal playthrough, and I think this is it. I think this is my definitive sort of confidant thing. These are the people that I found to be the most useful. The thing that I found most useful to me was quality of life changes and being able to speed the game up when it was at times where it's pretty boring, like stuff like mementos and having to rank up certain characters. I found this to be the best optimal route. I would focus on the characters on the top before the ones on the bottom personally. So I think that's going to be it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe for more content. Click the bell to be notified whenever I have a new video or when I go live, so you can immediately be there whenever I do that. But yeah, I might do some more of this type of stuff in the future. I still have to do my review on Persona 5 Royal and my review on Final Fantasy VII. We've been streaming a lot of Catherine lately, so if you like the streams, you can also subscribe for the streams. Join the channel today, become a member. It's only $2. You get special emotes and you get badges, and I think that's the end of my plug there. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next episode.